I was raised in a Christian home. My dad was a pastor of a small Baptist church in northern Georgia when I was growing up. I was traveling on the road for long periods of time away from my home, my family, my friends, and it was easy to become depressed, and I eventually fell into addiction to try to ease that pain or lighten my moment. And I struggled with that for many, many years. At one point when I was 30, I was going to commit suicide. And miraculously enough, at the moment I raised a gun to my head, I heard our front door open, and I went out to look who it was, and it was our roommate. Coming home in the middle of the day, I asked, "Hey, what are you doing here in the middle of the day?" And she said, I was just at work and just felt like I needed to go home and finish out my day. Did she save my life? Probably. It was another time about a dozen years later. I had a drug dealer put a gun in my face. I thought for sure I was going to die at that time, but I was ready. I was ready to give up. I didn't have any more hope. One day when I'd finally reached that point of no return, I cried out to God. When I finally called out to Him, I prayed for death. I asked Him to take me home. And a voice in my head told me to get up and go home. I walked, I found a payphone, I called my mother, collect. That was the answer. I went home. It wasn't the prayer I was looking for, but it was the prayer God answered that He wanted for me. It was His will. From that point on, I rebuilt my faith and my strength in Him, studied His Word, and I went from this to freedom. And here I am, 11 years later, 100% sober. I was able to find my way back into a church through music, where I used that music to worship. I was set free by the grace of Jesus Christ. I knew that I was out of control and I could no longer manage my own life. And I also knew that without Jesus Christ, I wouldn't be able to make it. I had to reach out to Him. He took my hand. He pulled me through that fire. And I give all glory to God for saving me, because it wasn't my works.